I've closed more than 15 million in sales online, so I can tell you the beginning of your sales calls can actually kill the whole thing. If you start asking how their day is, start talking about the weather, or say something that actually lowers your status, it can kill everything. Because they'll just see you as just another sales professional and not someone special or someone who's an authority in their field. So today, I'll go through some of the most popular sales call openers to show you what's working and what's not working today. So let's look at some of your favorite influencers and critique them.
Oh my god, hi, so nice to meet you. I'm so excited for our conversation. I saw you're in Florida. How's the weather out there? Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to move to Florida. Nobody will respect you with that intro because one, you sound desperate and you're putting them on a pedestal being like, I'm so excited to talk to you. Also, who gives a fuck about Florida? You're trying to sell them a program. People don't buy from people they like, they buy from people they respect. Here's how you get someone to respect you by framing your sales call at the very beginning. It looks like this. Hey girl, yeah, you can hear me? You can see me? Cool. Okay, well, I was just looking at your profile and it looks like you're trying to get possible help with Y so that you can get to X level dream state. It looks like you already have a lot of this stuff covered though with what you were previously doing. So what made you want to book this call and like possibly learn more?
She's 100% on point when she starts talking about don't talk about Florida, they don't care where you're from, and they know in their mind that you don't really care where they're from. They have a problem that they want to solve and you have a possible solution. So your job at the end of the day is to position yourself as a credible authority and show them through your strategic questions that you're there just to see if you can help them. Now, the thing that I would change based on what she's doing is I would keep it a little bit less casual and a little bit more stoic when she starts the call. Now, let's move forward.
Just to give you a little bit of an insight for the call, just so that you're aware of how these calls usually go. What I'll do here in the beginning is I'll just ask you some different questions to really try to figure out if we can help you or not. And then if I feel like we can actually help you, of course, we can talk about how we help you with the program and what that looks like in terms of the support. And then from there, if we both feel like everything's perfect, feels great, then we can talk about the next steps forward. So, does that sound okay?
So there are a few things that I would tweak when it comes to his approach. I like how he's mentioning, hey, I'm just here to see if I can help you or not. I would not talk about the program. The moment you talk about the program, you can trigger them to start asking, since you mentioned the program, can you tell me upfront how much it costs and what do I get with it? So it triggers the brain to start thinking about the solution and not their actual problem. Let's move forward.
Yeah, how's your week been, Tatiana?
It's good. It's been well, busy one, but always busy, right?
Yeah, I mean, busy's good, right? Where are you located exactly? I think you said you were in Canada?
Yes, I'm in Toronto.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you hopping on this call. I know we were chatting yesterday and then just getting, that short notice and hopping on today's call. So I want to make sure I value your time and my time as well. You got something to take some notes, we can just go ahead and dive right in.
Yes, I did. Got my pen and paper, always.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. There is a little bit of a lag, so I just want to make sure you can hear me okay.
So this is horrible. A few things is, again, the prospect, they don't care where you live and they know that you don't care where they live. Get to the point straight away. When she also mentions that, I know we chatted yesterday that we're gonna have this call on short notice, that's a perfect opportunity for you to dig into what the prospect said yesterday. So I know we discussed yesterday about you wanting to possibly get some help around your sales. Now, what were you looking for help specifically though? That gets to the what I call overt outcome and gets to the core problem right away without wishy-washing around and helps them get clarity, but also helps you find clarity around what they have to say.
The worst way to start a sales call is to pick up and say, how are you? And then talk for 3 minutes about the fucking weather. You don't actually give a shit. They know that you don't give a shit, so it's a complete waste of time. Instead, you want to spend about 30 seconds building rapport and then jump straight into it. Say this. Arnell, what's going on, brother? It's Brian Mark from PT Domination. How are you? Yeah, I'm great as well. Listen, I've got back-to-back calls booked all day. Are you cool if we just jump straight in?
So I've met Mark in person in Canada. He's a great guy, but I completely disagree with his approach. People have this misconception that they think that building rapport comes from asking them how they are, where are they from, and trying to connect with them quickly in the beginning of the call. That's not how you build rapport with people. How you build rapport with people is throughout the call, by asking them the right questions. Because it doesn't matter what you say in the beginning of the call and asking them how they are if you don't have the right questions to ask them throughout the call. Rapport, again, we build that throughout the call by positioning ourselves as an expert, not just in 10, 20, or 30 seconds in the beginning of the call.
Do you mind if we go ahead and get started? A lot of times, salespeople don't really know how to begin a meeting. They try to make small talk, they try to build rapport. The prospect might feel like you're wasting someone's time, right? So what you want to do instead, you want to just ask them, do you mind if we go ahead and get started? It's not going to be rude, it's not going to be forceful, it's just making sure you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting their time, and people will actually respect it. When you do that, people feel more confident in you, they feel like you know what you're doing.
So I'm down with Patrick's principle. I don't agree with the wording. So it's not about if we start with a process, it's all about putting them in a position where they feel heard and understood. I also want to avoid saying things like, do you mind if we get started? Because it really feels that they're part of a mechanized process and something is about to happen to them. It's not going to be a collaborative effort. Okay, I agree that let's get to the point. I'm not here to waste your time, but at the same time, I want to show them that, hey, we're collaborating in this conversation. It's not gonna be blast you with questions and I'm gonna get things from you, but we're going to collaborate on our common plan on how to fix your problem.
I appreciate you taking the time out to see if I can add some value and to discuss what we got going on.
I have to cut this there. Like, please avoid saying all of that. Don't say I super appreciate you taking the time. It's both of your time. Their time is not more valuable than yours, and your time isn't necessarily more valuable than theirs. You don't want that dynamic. These fake power plays. It's not what this is about. Also, when he also mentions that, let me say this again, because I want you to avoid this wording for sure.
You taking the time out to see if I can add some value and to discuss what we got going on.
Yeah, the add some value part. I hate that. Sales calls are not a place to add value to people, because what's going to happen? First of all, you're getting put in a position where they're critiquing you. So you lose all the frame, you lose all the power on that call. All they have to do is stand back and say, is he delivering on what he promised around me getting value? Second, when you start asking these questions, they're not necessarily receiving value. So you essentially just lie to them up front. And what's going to happen is if you start giving value, why would they ever buy your service if you give value up front throughout that call? The objection that you're creating is, well, this all sounds amazing. Let me go back, apply the value that you gave me, and then we can reconnect to see if I need more help. So you can actually sabotage your own sales process by saying something like that.
Alberto, what's going on?
How's it going, brother?
Going good? Going good? What's going on, man? Where are you located?
Miami, Florida.
Beautiful place. I used to live in Midtown for like a year. I tested it out, but I'm back in Chicago.
Prospect doesn't care. They don't give a shit if you were in Florida for X amount of months.
Yeah, no, I've been following you for a while, so you moved back. So I was like, oh, he was just here months ago.
That's cool. Yeah, I was there.
Also, you can trigger a lot of resistance with this fake laugh that he's doing. The prospect can see there was nothing funny about what you just said, and you being the first to start cracking smiles and being excited, what does it communicate to the prospect? I want you to think here. You enter a room and you see a person throwing smiles and being all happy and cheerful towards you, while you know that they're there trying to sell you something. Can you see how the dynamic shifts?
That's cool. Yeah, I was there like literally 2 weeks ago, and I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks again. So I come frequently. I love it there. You said you've been following me for a while. How long have you been following me?
At least over a year. And I follow a couple different guys that do like your type of business. I'm assuming, I guess, your type of courses.
Yeah.
So just make you just.
So this was actually a trap by the prospect. I want you to be careful here. She says to him, to this guy trying to sell, he's like, yeah, I've seen the type of people, courses. So what is the prospect doing here? The prospect is trying to label that person, oh, you're one of the course sellers. And he falls right into that trap and he says, oh yeah, I'm one of those guys. Well, do you know 30 seconds into a call, the thinking and the mindset of that the prospect has around course sellers. So by saying yes, he accepts the identity of a course seller and just plays along. But it can actually sabotage the sale on the back end, because the prospect can say, well, I know your type, you guys are scamming people with courses, so I'm not interested. So we have to be super careful around what the prospect is saying to us in the beginning of the call.
Essentially how this call goes is I just want to ask you a few questions to see where you're at in your business currently. And then at the end, I'll explain our system, and then you let me know if it would be a good fit for you and your business and how you'd like to move forward. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Very flat frame. What he's trying to do is set the frame for the call, unpack through directions and showing the person that, hey, I want to find out about your business. And then at the end, we can talk about if there's a fit. When you say to someone, hey, let's see if this is a fit, how does that person feel? They feel that they are trying to fit someone's criteria. So in their minds, is that going to feel nice, or is that actually going to create sales resistance? Stay away from language as in, let's see if there's a fit here. Because again, you're communicating to them that you're part of a sales process and I'm qualifying you right now. Let's look at another one.
Hey, this is Renzo Guevara. Is this Luke?
Yeah, it is. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man. Not gonna lie to you. Only got 4 hours of sleep and I'm onboarding clients pretty much all day. So because we only have about 45 minutes here and I do have another call booked right after this, is it cool if we get right into it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. So how these calls usually go is I'll just ask you a couple questions to see if we're a good fit to work together. And if I do think we're a good fit, I'll let you know I have to offer, how it works and everything. You just had to let me know at the end of the call if you want to be a part of it or not. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Cool. So that being said, my first question...
Very hard frame. So again, we're pinpointing to the prospect exactly what's going to happen throughout the call. And essentially we're communicating that at the end of the call, I'm going to force you to give me a yes or a no, which again, especially when it comes to A-type personalities, they're not going to like that. You're going to have a lot of pushback if you use these types of frames. So as we're wrapping up, I'm going to give you my 2 favorite ways of opening up the sales calls without triggering sales resistance, but also in a way that builds immense trust. So here's the short one. Hey Chris, good to see you here. I don't want to make any assumptions. I saw that you booked with us for 45 minutes today. How can I help? So the reason why it's that short is I don't want to put any hard frames on that person. At the same time, I want to show them that I'm the authority on this call and I am there to help. That's why I'm using that language specifically. Now, the longer frame that I like to use goes something like this. Hey Chris, it's good to see you here. These calls are pretty straightforward. I'd love to find out a little bit more about what you're doing today to grow your sales, where you want to be in 12 months, see what that maybe gap looks like, and towards the end, if it makes sense, I can talk you through about possible next steps. Now, would that help you? Again, all of the above is below the lens of I am here to help you while building a clear plan around their hell, where they are today, and their heaven, where they want to go. And together, in a collaborative manner, we're going to coordinate a clear plan around how they can get there. It's not combative, it's not creating sales resistance, and I'm showing them that as an expert, I'm just there to help. Now, if you want to see the best and the worst sales coaches in 2025, watch this video right here, and I'll see you there.